Friends, suppose you got the chance to somehow go into the past and change your life, or go into the future, understand the situation there, and fix everything. In both of those situations, you'd have to time travel. But in today's movie, a 43-year-old man has his soul, for some reason, swapped with the soul of his own 18-year-old version. Now watch how much fun this is going to be. An 18-year-old body with a 43-year-old soul. How entertaining. Let's begin. So at the start of the story, we see a man named Shen, who is 43 years old, and the year is 2024. Shen is an ordinary middle-class man who has a wife. Her name is Mei, and they have a son named Ray, who is 18 years old. Both Shen and Mei work. But when it comes to Shen, he has started looking quite old before his time. He has a BP problem, he's diabetic, and on top of that, he's a little lazy too. Anyway, friends, Shen doesn't get along very well with his own son. Ray keeps avoiding his own father. Now Shen heads out for his office, where he arrives a bit late, and because of that, he has to put up with a lot from his manager. Now Shen's manager's name is Jin, so after taking Jin's scolding, he gets down to his work. His job, friends, is to do the small odd tasks around the office. Basically, understand it like this. He works in this office as a helper, handing someone a file, fixing the photocopy machine, repairing a light, changing a socket, and so on. Meanwhile, we see this company's director, Ren, who while giving an interview, is explaining that his company is currently making an anti-aging powder, which once you eat it, will actually reduce a person's age. He says they have put several foreign scientists and experts on this job, that they're working on it day and night, and that they're soon going to release that powder in the market. Now, while Ren is saying all this, Shen gets an electric shock while fixing the electrical socket and faints. But this knocks out the lights of the entire office. Friends. So this is how Shen's whole day goes by. In the evening, as he's heading home tired and worn out, he sees that his son is running with some people. So he calls out to his son. But hearing this, his son Ray's coach comes up in front of Shen along with him. Seeing the coach, Shen says, "You're?" And the coach says, "Oh, now I understand why Ray is so fast. After all, he's your son. Remember, Shen, I was your coach too, and you were the most promising of everyone. In the same way, your son is a very fine athlete. He's the best." But then the coach adds, "But Shen, what state have you reduced yourself to? I'm older than you, yet you look older than me." Hearing this, Shen says, "This running and marathon and all of that is fine, but I think Ray should focus on his studies rather than on all these things." Hearing this, the coach says, "It would be much better if you let Ray decide that himself." And then, leaving Ray with Shen, he goes off. Shen forbids Ray from following him. "Don't go after the coach. Focus on your studies." But as I told you, Ray always keeps avoiding his father. So he asks, "Tell me one thing. What exactly is your problem?" Shen says, "Son, this age, from 18 to 20, if we don't make the right decisions during it, we end up regretting it our whole life. You tell me, son. If you study and pull even a 10,000 rank, you'll still get admission into a good college. But what will you even get out of this running and all of that? Because here too you'd have to come right at the top. The competition is very tough in this as well." So Ray says, "Now you figure out for yourself what's more important and right. Because Dad, first sort out your own life, then lecture me." Now hearing these words from Ray, Shen becomes very sad. Look at the kids these days. And he walks off from there. At night, he watches a news report on TV, which says that the following night, there will be a tremendous meteor shower. Around 150 meteors will appear within 1 minute. And a meteor shower like this happened about 25 years ago. After this, morning comes again. Shen goes to the office as usual, where his day passes the usual way, working away. But today, Jin takes Shen along with him to Director Ren. Actually, friends, Shen, Ren, and Jin all studied together in high school, so they all know one another very well too. And as for Ren, the reason he called Shen is this: that anti-aging powder the company is about to launch is still in its testing phase. So Ren wants Shen to eat it and test it so that he can see what effect it has on him. In other words, those people want to make Shen the guinea pig to see what effect the product they've made will have. Now Ren knows full well that Shen won't file any case against him because Shen considers Ren a friend, a really good one. And the moment Ren asks, Shen picks up that powder and says, "I'll definitely eat it and let you know what effect it had." Then he starts making his way from the office toward home, and just then, on the way, he sees that a meteor shower is happening, the very one that was reported on the news the previous night. And at exactly this moment, Shen has an accident with a boy who was coming from the opposite direction. Friends, that boy was on a bicycle, and from the collision, both of them go flying and fall here and there, and with that, the scene cuts. Now the next morning when he wakes up, he sees that everything is rather strange. He says to himself, "Where have I ended up? This place looks somewhat familiar." After this, he goes outside and sees his father, Kai-chan, right in front of him. Now seeing him, something comes back to Shen, and he quickly checks the calendar, and it's the year 1999. After this, Shen checks his own face, and he's totally shocked because this Shen is not the 43-year-old one, but the 18-year-old Shen. And this obviously must have happened because of that collision, friends, the one that occurred during the meteor shower the previous night. But the real reason behind it is not explained in the movie. Now about Shen, friends, understand it this way. Even though the body is young Shen's, the soul inside him is that of the future's older Shen, who is an experienced man. So from now on, we'll keep calling this one young Shen. Okay, friends. So at first he's very happy to discover this, because now he has a chance to get his life back on track. Shen's father, Kaichen, runs his own restaurant. As for Shen, he now gets ready to head to school because his childhood friend Li has come to pick him up. Seeing him, young Shen is very happy. Now, a 43-year-old man is in an 18-year-old boy's body, so he feels his body to be quite agile. He runs off to school, during which he collides with a car that Ren's father is driving. Young Shen gets back on his feet, and when Ren's father gives him money, "Go see a doctor, you must be hurt, get it treated." Young Shen takes that money, which Ren and Li find quite odd, because Shen never takes money like this from anyone. Friends, yet today he took it. Now friends, whatever happens in young Shen's timeline will all be in the young version, so you'll be able to follow it easily this way. Now during this period, Shen, Li, and Ren become very good friends. I mean, they were already good friends before, so the three of them go to school together. Here we learn that Ren's father is very rich. That's why Ren went on to become the director of a company later. Ren, that is. Anyway, the moment he enters school, young Shen sees that his future wife Mei is there, and she studies in this very school. As for Mei, seeing her, young Shen walks straight up and tells her, "Right now I have more important things to do, so I won't be able to give you time. As for the rest, in 5 years we'll be married, and in 7 years we'll have a son." After saying this, young Shen leaves, and Mei is left thinking, what did Shen just say? Has he lost his mind? Then she tells herself, yeah, he's crazy, man, keeps blurting out anything. And so she ignores him. And now, during math class, friends, when young Shen is sleeping, the teacher wakes him up and says, "Are you feeling sleepy? And at this age too? Son, this is exactly the age to make something of yourself. Don't waste your time like this." Hearing this, young Shen says, "The miss is absolutely right. I shouldn't be wasting my time here." Saying that, he walks out of the class. And seeing him leave like this, everyone is surprised, especially Mei, who is his future wife. After this, young Shen first goes to the lottery office, but he can't remember which number was drawn on which date back in 1999. So next he thinks of playing the stock market, but then he realizes that he never took the risk of investing in the stock market, and besides, using time travel like this to invest in stocks would amount to cheating. So he wants to make something of himself through his own hard work. That's what's on his mind, friends. Then he remembers that his father has a small restaurant. Why not take it further and make it bigger? So he goes home and tells his father, "Hand over the full management of your restaurant to me, then watch how I make it really big. I know exactly what kind of advertising I'll need to do for it. After that, you can relax too. You'll be free to travel abroad comfortably because by then, I'll be earning that much money." So his father says, "Oh wow, in that case, I'd like to go to Hawaii. My son, I'll give you the management of this restaurant, but on 2 conditions. The first condition, you'll never miss a single class and you'll never lie. Because today you got up and walked out of math class. Your class teacher called and told me." So young Shen agrees to both of his father's conditions. After that, he goes to his room and thinks, "First, I'll get my hair sorted out." Then, when he switches on his Windows 98 system, he gets a message on a messenger app, and seeing it, young Shen is stunned, because the boy Shen had collided with the previous night was Shen himself. One of them was young and the other was old. As for the rest, friends, just as old Shen's soul has come into young Shen's body, in the same way young Shen's soul transfers into old Shen. And now we see old Shen, inside whom is the 18-year-old Shen. After that incident, the moment he tries to jump up, he can't get up no matter how he tries. His back is aching, his whole body has stiffened up, because right now he's in the somewhat older body, friends, which is 43 years old. Anyway, old Shen somehow gets up from the bed, and then when he sees the date, he goes completely crazy. First, looking at his own face in the mirror, he's stunned, and then he notices that someone is at home. Now this is none other than Shen's son, Ray. So old Shen first tries to hit Ray and demand, "Who are you? And where is my dad?" And Ray can't understand what's happened to his dad, why his dad is behaving like this, acting like a stranger, and why he's hitting him. A little while later, the police arrive, and they counsel both of them. Look, fighting at home is not a good thing. Even if you're father and son, a father and son should live like a father and son. Why are you fighting? And if this happens again, we'll put both of you in lockup. This way, they talk both of them down and leave. After they go, old Shen says to Ray, "Are you really my own son? How handsome and strong you are. Now tell me, where is your grandfather?" To this, Ray replies, "He's in Hawaii." After that, old Shen asks, "What's your mother's name?" Hearing this, Ray just walks off. His head's gone. He's gone crazy. He doesn't even know his own wife's name, let alone mine. How did he forget his own wife's name? After this, old Shen looks at his phone and is delighted to find that he has his own phone. While checking that smartphone, old Shen finds a messenger app that he had been using since he was 18. Earlier, he used to use it on his system, going to its website to send messages. In this app, old Shen enters his old password, but the login won't open, because obviously the password would have been changed over time. So he creates a brand new ID, and from it sends a message to his old ID, which reaches young Shen. Now seeing this message, young Shen understands that the two of their souls have been swapped, the old version and the young version. So young Shen explains everything to old Shen, all that happened. Also, the one who is young Shen, meaning the one inside whom is old Shen's soul, tells old Shen, inside whom is young Shen's soul, "You're married to Mei, she's your wife." He also tells him that she works here and there. Now old Shen asks, "Did I never become an athlete? That was my dream." To this, young Shen says, "No, we couldn't become one, man. In fact, right now there's a championship coming up in the next month. We lose that one too, because call it your leg or mine, but our leg got injured and we lost that championship." Hearing this, old Shen says, "I have to get back now. Winning this championship race is my dream." So young Shen says, "Not right now, because at the moment I have some work to do here to fix your future. So for now, you stay in my place." Saying this, he logs out. So old Shen thinks to himself, "When I had my accident, I ended up in the future. If I have another accident, who knows? Maybe we'll each go back to our own times." Thinking this, he goes and rams into a man with a bicycle, but it does no good. Now seeing old Shen behaving like this, Mei scolds him a great deal. And seeing her, old Shen is absolutely delighted, because even now he finds Mei very lovely, even though she has changed a bit. Now Mei takes old Shen home, and when she finds out that in the morning old Shen had hit Ray and even asked, "Son, what's your mother's name?" she starts arguing with him. "Don't you even know my name? Had you gone mad this morning?" So old Shen says, "Oh no, I was just joking like that. By the way, you've become more beautiful than before. You've also become quite funny." Hearing this, Mei's head spins. What's really gotten into him? The two of them are left gazing at each other, because today, after quite a few days, old Shen has complimented Mei. Meanwhile, on the other side, young Shen takes part in a sporting event called Lake Race. There he pulls a muscle in his leg. Even so, with the help of Ren and Li, he finishes that race, for which people applaud him a great deal. Reporters crowd around him. Now, during this, young Shen had worn a t-shirt on which he'd written the name of his father's restaurant. Because of this, his restaurant gets publicity too, and people start coming there. In a very short time, their business is doing quite well. Also, friends, we get to learn that pretending to pull a muscle like that in the race was young Shen's plan so that he could market his restaurant. You see, his main idea right now is that if he grows his business at this age, then by the time he reaches 43, he'll have become a nicely well-off man. That's why he's paying more attention to his restaurant. And soon young Shen, together with his father, shifts the restaurant to a place called Thick Street. His father had started all of this by taking out a loan. Everything turns out very well. And now, one night when young Shen is heading somewhere with Li, he sees 3 goons harassing a boy and snatching his money. These goons are referred to in the movie as the bad boys. Friends, so we'll call them that too. Seeing these bad boys, Li says, "Man, we should help that boy." But Shen says, "Why pick a fight for no reason, man? Let's just go our own way." Saying this, he starts to leave with Li. And just then, he sees Mei arrive there with her friends, and by threatening those bad boys, get them to release the boy they were harassing. She also gets his money back for him. Seeing Mei this confident, the bad boys get quite scared. She must be an even bigger goon than us. And seeing this, young Shen is rather impressed. Friends, as for old Shen on this side, he dyes his hair and completely changes his appearance. Then he goes to his son Ray's school to attend a parents' meeting. There he gets to hear that Ray is actually focusing less on his studies and more on running events here. At this, old Shen says, "What's wrong with that? If he likes running and racing, then let him do exactly that." Hearing his father's words, Ray hugs him, but he can't understand how his father has changed so much. Earlier, he used to say, study. There's nothing in racing and all of that. Not only that, friends, old Shen even says he'll train Ray himself. After this, old Shen goes to his office where, on seeing Jin, he talks with him exactly the way one talks with a friend. Now Jin is quite taken aback to see this behavior in Shen. Not only that, old Shen also treats Ren like a friend. He even starts touching everything in his cabin. Now here Ren and Jin start thinking that the anti-aging powder must have definitely had an effect on Shen, because he's behaving exactly the way he used to behave when he was 18. And here, when old Shen is touching Ren's things, Ren gets a little disturbed too. Here we learn that Ren has an OCD problem, keeping everything properly at a set distance, arranging things, keeping everything even. All of this is Ren's habit. And meanwhile, old Shen looks at that 400-meter championship trophy which Ren had won, whereas Shen himself had wanted to win it. Seeing it, he leaves, feeling sad. After this, old Shen gives his son Ray very good running training, and through this activity his own blood sugar also keeps coming down, which Mei is quite surprised to see. And then one night, while old Shen is waiting for Ray, some people kidnap him. And this kidnapping was actually arranged by Ren's father, friends, so that he could scan old Shen's brain and find out whether his age has truly reduced or whether Ren and Shen are putting on an act together. Then, after knocking old Shen out, they run some tests on him, the results of which come out very good. Old Shen's age really has dropped a lot, and he's responding like a young person. This shows up in the tests. Now seeing this, Ren's father is very happy and puts all his money into this anti-aging powder. He also tells old Shen, "Son, you'll be given 10% of this powder's profit." Now the people who made this powder are quite astonished at how this powder's working, and they all decide, what's it to us? Whatever way it's working, it's working. We just need to get our money. We'll slip away from here. Because, friends, they themselves know, that is, the makers know, that this powder can't work. But they're astonished at how it actually worked. As for the rest, this powder is marketed very well, and they even offer a guarantee to return triple the money if it doesn't work. Because of this, there's a huge surge in the powder's sales, and Ren profits a lot. Then old Shen is also given his 10%. As for the rest, once the product launches going forward, when its sales are doing well, old Shen will get even more money, meaning he'll get the 10% and even more on top of it. After which, come over to young Shen, friends. To run his new restaurant, he takes the help of Li, Ren, Jin, and Mei, meaning on the restaurant's opening day, they all support young Shen. During this, young Shen feeds everyone there, and he pays them money in exchange for the work. Seeing this, Li and Mei say, "We didn't come here for money, we're your friends." So young Shen says, "You all aren't getting this right now, but you'll understand later." Relationships only turn out good when there's a benefit in everything within them. Nobody likes this statement of young Shen's, and Li, along with Mei and everyone else, leaves from there. Only Jin is left sitting there at the end. Meanwhile, young Shen's father arrives there and asks him, "Where did everyone go?" So young Shen says, "They're all kids right now. They'll soon understand what I'm trying to teach them. Everything will be fine in 2 or 3 days. Don't worry." On the other side, old Shen is mulling something over, friends, and just then Jin comes over and says, "I know who you're looking for right now." Saying this, he takes old Shen along to a place where the two of them see a man picking up garbage and the like. So Jin tells him, "Didn't you recognize him? This is our Li. Look at the state the poor guy has fallen into. You know, Shen, when you got injured in your leg and weren't coming to school, that's when some policemen came into the classroom and took Li away with them. Actually, Li had struck one of those 3 bad boys on the head with a stick and killed him. After which, Li's parents left this city. That's what happened, friends." So now, hearing this, old Shen feels very bad for Li. Meanwhile, in the office, Ren sees that all his researchers, scientists, and so on have run off with their money. They never mass-produced the powder at all, and there are now just 4 days left for the product to launch. They've even left a note for Ren, in which it's plainly written that this powder has no effect and that nothing happens from it. Now Ren can't figure out what to do. The goods have already been sold in the pre-sale. Under that, people will now file cases against them. That's why Ren thinks of making old Shen the legal representative of this powder. He even tells old Shen about it, but old Shen flatly refuses because he understands this much, that if anything has gone wrong, his name will certainly get tangled up in it. So Ren says, "If you won't become the legal rep, then I won't give you that 10% of the profit either. Keep that in mind." So old Shen says, "Go on then, I don't want it." After this, old Shen comes home. There, seeing him looking sad, Mei asks, "What happened?" So old Shen says, "Today I saw Li. He's in a terrible state. Mei, I want to go see Dad. I feel like seeing him." So Mei says, Okay, go and meet him tomorrow. Old Shen says, but he's in Hawaii, isn't he? To this, Mei says, yes. And with that, we see Old Shen at a nursing home named Hawaii, where his father is being treated. Old Shen sees that his father has grown quite elderly. Now he can't even remember things. Seeing his father in this state, tears well up in Old Shen's eyes. He messages young Shen and asks about it, and learns that his father has been ill for the past year, and that Shen would need money for his treatment. That's why Old Shen now goes to Ren and tells him, if I become the legal representative of this product, will you give me 20% profit sharing? Hearing this, Ren agrees at once, and right away, after getting all the paperwork done, Old Shen is made the legal representative. Ren has handed his own headache over to Old Shen, friends, and Old Shen has no idea at all of what's about to come. Meanwhile, we see young Shen, at whose restaurant the crowds start thinning out over time, meaning he's running a loss. Now, young Shen knows, friends, that at this very place, that is, on Thick Street, at around this same time, a rich businessman had invested. After that, this area became quite developed. Now, a little later, that businessman, along with Ren's father, comes there. Young Shen meets them and invites them into his shop. But just then, that businessman notices a duck coming toward him. He's afraid of ducks. So, fleeing from it, he gets into his car and drives off from there. A few days after this, young Shen learns that because of this duck incident, the businessman is now investing not in Thick Street but in Thin Street, which is quite strange, friends, because in the future this hadn't happened. Now you're following all of this, right? Why does young Shen know? You know why, right? Because the soul of the 43-year-old Shen sits inside him, so he knows what happened, when, and where. But here this time, that businessman is going to invest in Thin Street instead of Thick Street, which is a bit odd, meaning small changes are happening in the past. Anyway, a few more days pass like this, when one evening Ren's father comes to meet young Shen. On seeing him, young Shen recalls why he's come. He's actually come to tell young Shen not to take part in the next day's 400-meter race championship, because he wants his own son, Ren, to win this championship, and in exchange for that, he even offers Shen money. But friends, Shen refused to take it because winning this race is his dream. As for the rest, when the gi won't come out with a straight finger, that is, when the straightforward approach doesn't work, Ren's father takes another route. Going the crooked way, he pays the bad boys and tells them to stop Shen on race day by any means necessary. And they did exactly that, friends. At that point, Li came along and started helping Shen. He started fighting those bad boys, trying to stop them. But when those people refused to let Shen go, Shen too joins Li in fighting them. And at this very moment, a bad boy strikes Shen on the leg again. This injures his legs, and even though he wants to, he can't take part in the race. This is the scene that happened before in the original timeline. So now all of these things are about to happen. Young Shen knows this. That's why, when he sees Ren's father, he says everything to him himself, meaning all the things that Ren's father had come to say to him. He also says, I can take part in this race next year too, so you give me this money. Seeing this, Ren's father says, you really are more mature than your age, and don't you worry. I'll shift your restaurant from Thick Street to Thin Street. Hearing which, young Shen becomes happy. Now come over, friends, to old Shen's side. He goes to meet Li and brings him along to his own company. He tells Li, from today you'll work with me. I'm the legal representative of this company's new product. Now he takes Li along to show him the product that's going to launch in 2 days, and their old Shen sees that there's no powder at all. Instead, empty boxes are lying in its place. Seeing this, Li tells him, Shen, you still haven't changed. Saying that, he walks off. After which, old Shen angrily goes to Ren. When he questions him about this, Ren says, I gave you this powder to eat for testing, and you, by putting on an act, made everyone believe you'd turned completely young. So I trapped you in this too. Tell me, is your revenge complete? And now no product will launch. The only thing that will is a court case, and that too on you, because yours is the face. As for me, I'll just start another company. Old Shen says, I never imagined you'd turn out like this, and forget about me. At least think about the people who work for you. They'll lose their jobs. So at this, Ren says, laughing, they aren't people, they're my employees. Understand? Now wherever they go, I couldn't care less. I'm sitting here to run a business, not to hand out free candy. After Ren leaves, old Shen gets very angry. What kind of man is this, honestly? But what else can he even do, friends? And over here we see young Shen a little troubled, to whom Ren says, whatever my dad wants, he gets it, and he keeps it. On the other side, old Shen goes to meet his father, who tells him, son, yesterday you asked me for money for the field trip, didn't you? Here, take this money, otherwise I'll forget to give it to you again. He folds up a piece of paper and hands it to old Shen. Seeing this, old Shen breaks down badly and starts to cry, thinking, no matter how grown up we become, our parents still keep worrying about us. Anyway, after this, old Shen gathers a little courage and he talks with young Shen. He tells him, now I'll have to do something or other. Otherwise, there'll be trouble. By the way, you tell me, you're taking part in the championship, right? So young Shen says, no, I won't. Ren's father came to lure me into not entering this tournament, but I turned him down. Actually, friends, we had seen, hadn't we, that young Shen had taken money from Ren's father. After that, Ren's father had said, you're more mature than your age. Often, by making decisions like this, we can shape our future. So to this, young Shen had later said, making decisions like this gave me no benefit in the future. That's why I can't take this money. And refusing him, he walks away. As for the rest, young Shen's father can't manage to pay the rent for the new restaurant, so it shuts down. As for the rest, he is actually happy and tells young Shen, the old restaurant was small, but I used to feel a sense of belonging there. Don't worry, I'll handle the loan and all of that. You just focus on your race. And friends, now Shen goes off to practice, and to support him, Li and Mei show up. Seeing them by his side during this difficult time, young Shen is very happy. Now all the things that were going to happen have now happened. So when old Shen hears all of this from young Shen, he too sets out to take his revenge and to stop Ren. And in this, his wife Mei and Ray support him. He tells Ray that the plan is this. Today, the full payment from the pre-sale is going to come in, with which that Ren is about to run away. We have to break into his office and stop him so that he can't do it. From this money, I'll compensate all the people who bought this powder by paying them back, and that way I won't even get hit with any case. That's why I've called Ren to a spot to talk, where, in my place, Mei will go and keep him tied up. Meanwhile, just as young Shen is about to go take part in his race, those very bad boys block his path. And here we learn that it wasn't Ren's father who told these people to stop Shen. Rather, this is Ren's own doing, friends. Ren, who wants to win this race and prove himself worthy in front of his father, he knows that only Shen can defeat him. That's why he did this. Now Shen first tries to run away and dodge those three bad boys, but they don't want to let him go. So young Shen shows them a cassette and tells them, watching the chemistry among you, I've realized that the three of you could quit all of this and start your own band. Now, hearing this, those boys become completely happy and they decide to start their band. And so they let young Shen go. After which, young Shen reaches the race ground. Friends, we're seeing him. Li is very happy. Now come over to the other side. So old Shen, along with his son Ray, tries to break into the office. But Ren had already had his data deleted, so the gate won't open. Over here, Mei meets Ren. She tells Ren that Shen will be coming in a little while. Now every time old Shen tries to get inside, that many times Ren receives a notification on his phone. Seeing this, when Ren tries to figure out the cause, Mei recalls his OCD. He has this problem too, so she messes up every single thing kept there. Seeing this, Ren can't stop himself and gets busy setting them right. This way, Mei keeps him stuck for quite a while, but it does no good, friends, because when Mei quickly gets to the office, old Shen tells her, I can't even get inside. He's had my access deleted. Now, while these people are still talking, Ren arrives there with the coach and some goons. He says, looking at the notifications, I figured out it was your doing. Whatever you're trying to do, you won't be able to do it. Meanwhile, we see Li there, who once again comes with full agility to support Shen and to fight Ren's goons. And now, seeing Li in this new form, old Shen says, hey, weren't you the one picking up garbage? So Li says, you pick up garbage, you scoundrel. My business is an internet cafe, which was my dream. Now seeing this, old Shen realizes that young Shen has changed history in the past. That's exactly why this future has changed, meaning young Shen stopped the bad boys without a fight, so they couldn't injure young Shen. And when that didn't happen, Li didn't kill any of the bad boys either. Now neither did Li hit anyone, nor did they hit Li, so nobody fell ill. Nobody got hurt. This way, Li never went to jail, and his future was never ruined. Anyway, Ren, leaving these people entangled with the goons, slips into the office himself so that he can transfer all the money from his office system into his own account and get out of there. So old Shen and everyone else together beat down those goons, and old Shen goes running after Ren. Ren quickly slams his cabin door shut tight and jams the trophy onto it, the one he had won by winning the race. At the very same time, young Shen also wins the race. Now, friends, this trophy comes to young Shen. And once the trophy came to young Shen, the past changed, and the future changed too. That is, that trophy never came to Ren. So the trophy he had jammed against the door vanishes, and it ends up in Shen's house. And with that, old Shen, running, breaks into Ren's office, and by disconnecting his system, stops him from transferring the money. Everything turns out fine. A few days later, both Shens, meaning old and young, both of them, Watch on TV that same meteor shower news, the one that had occurred across a 25-year gap in 1999 and 2024. Meaning, when the two Shen's souls were swapped during the meteor shower, they had been sent a few days before that event. And then, friends, that event also happened on a different date because the two of them together had changed something. We don't actually get any explanation for that, but during this meteor shower, both Shens go to the spot where their accident had taken place. Going there, the two of them meet each other, as if the two timelines have merged into one. Both their souls return into them, and old Shen says to young Shen, "Both of us did well. As for the rest, go on, Li is waiting for you." Young Shen leaves, and after he goes, old Shen's own, older version comes to meet old Shen, and he says to old Shen, "I've only come here to tell you that, from everything you all did, your life didn't change all that much, but we lived well in life. We lived happily." Hearing this, old Shen feels a little relieved, and now he starts his own new restaurant like his father. As for the rest, the bad boys had also started their band, which is popular today. As for Ren, he was about to flee with the money, so the police catch him. As for the rest, Shen's father has gotten quite well. His treatment is going on in that same nursing home, but now Shen takes very good care of him. Along with that, he supports his son Ray, who, just like that, also wants to become an athlete. Friends, the way Shen himself once wanted to. Whether you're 18 or 43, you just need to know what it is you want. No age is too old to do any kind of work or to dream any kind of dream. Take Shen, for example. He couldn't become an athlete, so he started a new restaurant of his own. In the same way, if some dream of yours goes unfulfilled, it doesn't mean life is over and that you should sit around sad and give up in the face of life. Get up. Stand up, fight against the circumstances you're in, man, and go do something again. Because as long as there's life, this battle will keep going on. Isn't that right? That's what's worth accepting. As for the rest, we'll meet you in the next video. Take care of yourself. And finally, thanks for watching.